we are seeing the terrestrial habitats today. The terrestrial habitats, let's see the first one, which is a desert. Now, what are the non-living components or the abiotic components of a desert? If you see a desert, there is lot of sand, right? There is lot of heat. There is a lot of sunlight, right? So in the deserts, the animals should be able to survive in this sand and this extreme hot climate. So we saw the adaptation of camel, right? Camel has a hump to store the food in form of fat. Camel has long legs. Camel has leathery mouth. Camel defecates less urine, and also the feces are very less amount. So in all this way, the camel is adapted to the desert we saw. But what about other animals like snakes and rats? What do you think? They do not have long legs, right? They do not have a hump. So what do they do in such cases? These animals, to avoid the heat, they cannot have long legs, so they dig burrows. You can see here, they dig burrows and they live inside the burrows to avoid the heat. So this is about the, we saw adaptations of camel, right? Hump, less urine, long legs, etc. Then rat and snakes, what do? They dig burrows to avoid the heat. So we talked about some animals. Let's talk about the plants as well, right? Plants are also the biotic components. So the abiotic components around, how do they influence the life of the plant, right? How do the abiotic components influence the biotic component in the desert? So because of this much heat and less availability of water, the plants in the desert, they get less water. So they have minimized their way of losing the water. We have seen in an experiment in the chapter where we studied leaf, that leaf gives out some water in the form of transpiration, right? So in this way, lot of water is lost into the atmosphere in the form of vapor. So desert plants, what they have done is, let's see about cactus. So the leaves are reduced to spines, students. So the spines which you see in the cactus, they are the leaves actually. This is not the leaf. This green portion, it is not the leaf. We will see what it is, okay? The leaf is the spines. Spines are the leaves, okay? So when the leaves are like spines, then there will be no transpiration, loss of water is reduced. So whatever water they have, they try to store. When you go out for traveling, what do? You try to save more and more water, till the time you reach next station. You know that I will not get water before that. So you try to save the water, you try to store the water. Similar way, these plants, they know that they will not get so much rainfall like other plants do get in other areas, in other habitats. So they try to store more and more water. Okay, so the leaves have reduced to spines. But you remember, the main function of leaf is to make food. If leaves will become spines, who will make food? Right? So for that, the stems have come forward and helping the plant. The stems are green in color to do the photosynthesis. So the stems do the photosynthesis and make the food in cactus. Okay. The stem is green and it does the photosynthesis to make the food for the plant. Also, you know, if you see this stem is fleshy, very thick. Why is it thick? Because it has lot of water stored inside. Now you might also think, ma'am, from this stem, does not the water go into the atmosphere? No, because the stem has a waxy coating outside. If you see a cactus, you will see that the cactus in its stem has a waxy coating. That waxy coating prevents the loss of water to the atmosphere. Okay, so stems are thick and fleshy to store water there is a waxy coating on the stem to avoid the loss of water, and the spines are the leaves. Actually, the leaves are reduced to spines again to prevent the loss of water. So this is about the modifications or the adaptations in the cactus plant. Okay, camel, and then we saw cactus. So there are many other plants as well, opuntia and other succulents. So all of them have one or the other modification which helps them to survive in the desert. Now let's move to the next terrestrial habitat, which is mountains. Mountains are the second terrestrial habitat which we are going to see. If you see the animals in the mountains, they are quite different from the desert. Okay, you might see a yak in a mountain. The yak has very long hairs. The mountain places are generally, very cold and very windy. There is a lot of wind blowing there, and they are very cold also. The animals have to adapt some features to stay warm. So the yak has very long hairs which helps it to keep warm. The animals which you will find is yak. So how does it keep itself warm? By long hairs. Long hairs keep warm. Also, in some of the mountains, there is very cold, as I said, and in some of the mountains it might snow also. So there are many snowy mountains as well, where you will find snow leopards. So these snow leopards, they have furry kind of skin. The leopards and all, they will have thick skin with a fur, which again keeps them warm. So leopard, thick skin or fur to keep warm. Now you will also see mountain goats. The mountain goats, their hooves in the feet, they are in such a way that they can climb on the slopes of the mountains, the rocky slopes of the mountains. So this is also an adaptation in the mountain goat. Strong hooves. These strong hooves help it to climb the rocky slopes of mountains. So here you can again see, students, this is a yak with long hair. This is a leopard which has thick skin and fur. And then you have mountain goat which has strong hooves to climb the mountains. Okay. Also, let's talk about the plants, which is another living component of this area. The plants when you see in a mountains, they are mostly cone shaped. Okay, their branches are slopy and they look conical. Why? So that whenever snow or rain is there in the mountains, they receive a lot of rain, right? So whenever it is there, it does not stay in the branches, it falls down, it drips down. So there are other types of shapes also of different trees and plants in the mountain, and all of them have some or the other feature which helps them to survive in the mountains. So we have seen the mountains now. Now let's talk about the grasslands or the forest, right? So the grasslands, you will see animals like lion and deer. The first feature which you will observe is they are brown in color. Okay, so the grassland is also brown. There are dried grasses, bark of trees, right, and some dried trees. So they can easily camouflage, they can easily hide behind the trees and the grasses. So their color is brown, which helps them to camouflage with the background. Then you know, if you see a lion, you can see its eyes. Its eyes are very sharp, located at the front. Why at the front? So that it can estimate the correct location of the prey. On the other hand, if you see a deer, the eyes of the deer are on the sides. Okay, this is a lion here, eyes at the front. That is a deer there, eyes at the sides. The deer always has to look in all the directions. lion or any other animal might be coming at any time to eat the deer. So the deer is always very cautious, okay? It is always watching that someone should not be coming to hunt me. So the deer can watch very easily with the eyes, the location of the eyes where it is located. Also the deer can run very fast. As soon as it, you might have seen the ears of deer, right? They are very receptive. They are long and open kind of. So with those ears, the deer can hear a small sound also of the feet of lion if it is coming, and they can run very fast. On the other hand, lion has eyes to see the deer, and it has in the front feet, it has claws, very sharp claws, by which it can jump and capture the prey, and it also helps it to rip the muscle of the animal to eat. So if you see the teeth of the lion, they are sharp to rip apart and then to chew the animal. If you see the teeth of the deer, here is the teeth of deer, okay, they are mostly flat and broad so that they can eat the plant tissues very easily, okay. So this is the adaptations in the lion and deer in the grasslands. Similarly, you will see there are many features in other animals as well, like zebras. If you have seen, the zebras, they mostly walk in the groups. So what happens when they walk in the groups, you can see this herd of zebras are going in groups, and when zebras move in groups, because of that line, they do not look like separate animals. It looks like a very big animal which is together with big lines. So the animals, the carnivorous animals which are going to eat that poor herbivorous zebra, that animal thinks ki, it does not know, okay, it thinks ki there is a very big animal going, and it does not approach the group of zebra. But if it is single, it can prey. So that's why zebras, they are always found in groups, and they always walk together so that they look like a big animal. So these are the adaptations in the grasslands. Next lecture, we are going to see the adaptations in aquatic habitat, and we will also see the characteristics of living organisms. Thank you, students. Bye.